Hi, I'm Matt Braun, and this is going to be starting pitcher review. This is my second time doing this, and we're going to go over some of the most recent starts by some Twins starters. I think we're not going to go over quite all of them, just a few, just as many as I think are interesting. Maybe that's only two or three. Maybe that's all of them. We'll see. But today, actually, we're just going to do three. We're going to do Joe Ryan and then the two Taj Bradley starts because I think there's a lot to talk about here. So the first thing with Joe Ryan, this was a phenomenal start. Went 7 innings, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, and then 7 strikeouts. And what sticks out to me is that he just said, I have one of the best four-seam fastballs in all of baseball, and I'm just going to beat you with it. He threw it 56 times at 104 pitches, and let's go down here. 36 swings, 15 whiffs. Got 15 swings and misses on this thing. Just absolute domination, 39% called strike whiff rate. To have 59% zone contact on a four-seam fastball is kind of insane, actually. I don't know if I can properly describe. So 60% of the time when it was in the zone and they swung at it, they didn't make contact. With a four-seam fastball, that is unusual. And of course, Joe's the kind of guy who can get away with this. We know just from his fastball traits, the way he throws his fastball, he can do this. There are just a lot of guys who can't, but he is certainly one of them. And it was great to see. I think he went and he just said, let's not overcomplicate things. Let's just throw my four-seam fastball, and we'll see. The zone is pretty hilarious. He pretty much just threw it middle, and there was nothing the Padres could do about it. We have some ancillary stuff, curveball, sweeper, slider. Nothing stood out as like a true secondary. He kind of just threw everything. And the sweeper and splitter did okay. Sweeper actually did very well. I should correct myself. But honestly, I don't think it mattered all that much. This was the four-seam fastball show, and let's just take a look at it. We had in the chart before, I don't know if you remember, just too much was low. I just really didn't like him throwing it that low in the zone. You're Joe Ryan, for crying out loud. Throw it up in the zone. And not only did he throw it up in the zone, which is perfect, he just threw it middle. He just threw it middle, and just beat guys with it. There was nothing they could do about it. And usually you would say maybe that's fluky. Maybe that's something that he got away with. I wouldn't say so in this case. I would say this was just Joe Ryan being Joe Ryan. And it was great to see. And he's pitching again tonight. I'm recording this on Saturday, and it's going to be encouraging to see him potentially grow and potentially take another step off this because his last 2 outings were pretty rough. But he has now already set a career high in F-WAR, I do believe. And last time I checked, he has the 3rd best single season whip in Twins franchise history, or Twins team history, I should say. I don't know about the Senators. Walter Johnson probably has some pretty low whips. So keep an eye out. He might be setting some Twins records actually soon. But we're going to move here to Taj Bradley. This was his first start. So this was 8:30 against the Padres. And this was an encouraging start for him. 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 3 walks was a bit high, but 6 strikeouts. And the thing that I liked about this start, well, first of all, his velocity was up, which I think is a big point. He just, the four-seam fastball was up, the splitter was up, the curveball was up, and he was able to make it work. He was able to just dominate with these pitches. Really, the big thing for me, and we'll get to this again soon when we look at the chart, was the splitter. He was just throwing this thing in the strike zone, and there was nothing they could do about it. Zone contact rate, 20%. That is absurd. For any pitch, again, we're talking about beating players in the strike zone, which is hard to do for any pitcher because those are the pitches they're most likely looking for. So when I see a zone contact at 20%, that tells me something really special happened here. The four-seam fastball, even though it was up, this pitch didn't really dominate quite like how I would like to see it. Especially when you're throwing it, what did we have? On average, 97 miles an hour, touched 98.9, call it 99. Got 10 foul balls. It's a little high for that kind of pitch. Okay, swing and miss, got some called strikes. It was a passable pitch. It's just weird to say it's a passable pitch about, an offering that's 97 miles an hour, but we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Cutter did good work. Curveball did good work. Just a good all around. This is a well-balanced mix right here. Just nothing really stood out as bad. Everything was just working for him. And what's also incredible here is let's take a look at exit velocity. Average exit velocity of 70.9 miles an hour is incredibly low. That is absurdly low. That is just soft choppers and soft fly balls. There's a reason he only gave up one hit. And now, granted, the one hit was a absolutely crushed home run on a fastball right down the middle. You know, these things happen. But this was an encouraging start. Even with the 3 walks, I think that was more of an early thing. He walked 2 in the first inning, and then the 3rd in the second inning, and then really settled in. So a very encouraging start. Liked what I was seeing here. Let's take a look at the plot chart here. And what I liked, four-seam fastball was more middle and high. Again, this was kind of like what Joe Ryan did. And last time we looked at Taj, it was a bit too low. Really, actually, if you want to be generous, below the belt, you know, if we call this the belt, which is kind of pushing it, I think he only had 2 pitches there, 2 fastballs right there and right there. Other than that, he did a great job keeping it up. And I think that's what led to a lot of foul balls, and that's probably what led to the splitter and curveball really performing well. Here's the funny thing about the splitter. Let's take a look. So that's a splitter, got a swinging strike. That's a splitter, got a called strike. That's a splitter, got a swinging strike. That's a splitter, got a called strike. Got a swinging strike right there. Another swinging strike. This was somehow called a ball. I'm not quite sure what happened there. That should have been a strike. So he threw all of these splitters in the strike zone, and he just bullied him. And there was nothing they could do about it. I feel like I've said that so often in this start, but really it was true. When you're throwing splitters at 93 miles an hour, I would usually say, or I should say, when you're usually throwing splitters in the zone and you're getting guys to either take the pitch or swing and miss like this, I would say it's a bit fluky. But man, when you're throwing at 93, that's like a power sinker. I think you could totally live in the zone if you're throwing splitters this hard. And I think Taj realized that, and he said, look, I don't have great command of this pitch maybe, but look at the results. They're not hitting the pitch. Let's just keep going at it. So that was lovely to see. The four seam as well, just a little spray-y again at the top here. This was something we talked about in his last start against the White Sox, that it was just a lot up here. I counted. I don't remember the exact count off the top of my head. I didn't write it down for some reason. But it's fewer. There's fewer miss up here than it was against the White Sox, where these were just like not strikes, and they were never going to be strikes. So it was good to see him rein that in a little bit. And again, the cutter did well. Let's if we cut the plate in half, no pun intended, he hit this side more often than not, which is what you want to see out of the cutter. It's going to break horizontally. I don't really want to see guys, front dooring it to righties or back dooring it to lefties, unless you have like supreme Mariano Rivera command over the pitch. Let's just start it here and let it do its thing and let it run. And it did that very well. So encouraging start from Taj Bradley. Liked what I was seeing. I wasn't the biggest Taj Bradley fan, but if he's going to pitch like that, then maybe I will be. And then we're going to go to the second Taj Bradley start. This was against the White Sox, again facing them the other day. This was September 4th. A worse start on the line. 5 innings pitched again, but gave up 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. So actually fewer walks and more strikeouts. So in that respect, he did better. But 8 hits and 4 earned runs is not going to get it done. The odd thing is, I don't hate the start. Looking at some of these numbers, I really liked what he was doing. Let's start with the positives. This curveball just gave him fits. I mean, got 9 swings, 5 misses, got 6 called strikes. I mean, this thing was dominating. Only 3 balls in play, 1 foul ball. Leaned on it 25% of the time. I think the broadcast said it was like a career high in curveball usage, which seemed like a weird choice. I don't know if there's anything distinct about his curveball that would stick out to make you want to throw it this often. But hey, if it's going to work like this, then what do I know? Contact 17%, but they're swinging at it 40% of the time. So they were just coming up empty on this pitch. He just did such a great job putting hitters away with this. I think that's largely why he had 7 strikeouts. This is a great put-away pitch. Cutter, yet again, we'll look at the zone. I think it was the very similar thing. Just did a great job making sure it was middle and then running. Didn't leave too many on the wrong side of the plate, so to speak. But then we have some disappointing stuff. The four-seam fastball. So velo, it backed up a little bit. It wasn't quite as high. at least for his standards. It wasn't quite as high. And really just, I don't love seeing 12 foul balls off the four-seam fastball. Foul balls, on the one hand, it is a strike, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But also foul balls, to me, I think inefficiency. I think of guys extending at bats, and I think that's why, again, 91 pitches in 5 innings. The last time, 83 pitches in 5 innings, so a little more efficient. But he kind of had the same problem here, 10 foul balls out of 35 thrown. It's just really not fooling guys. They're just able to get at least a piece of it, and that's all they need is just a piece of it. And the exit velocity of this thing kind of got smacked, 97 on average. For whatever reason, and maybe we'll do a breakdown of this because I just don't have enough information at hand. I haven't really looked into it. For whatever reason, his four-seam fastball, whether it's the properties, the way he throws it, the way where he's locating it, maybe when he's even throwing it, for whatever reason, it's just not fooling guys. Even at its above average velocity, maybe even at, say, against the Padres when it was really above average, it's just not getting the job done. And I think this is going to be a sticking point. This is probably going to be where Pete Mackey, Josh Kalk, all of the Twins brain trust guys are going to have to figure out something regarding this. I think this was maybe what the Rays were looking at too, and they were just saying, hey, this four-seam fastball, it's just not going to cut it for whatever reason. It's going to underperform. And it's tough with four-seam fastballs because there's not a lot you can do with them. They're pretty unique to a pitcher's fingerprint. Of course, you could get them through a sinker, but that's a different type of fastball that's going to work differently in a guy's repertoire. It's not quite like a silver bullet of just throw a sinker and that'll fix everything. It doesn't quite work that way. But whatever reason, fastball didn't perform. I think this was probably why he got into some trouble. And then unfortunately, the splitter was just a complete non-factor. This thing did nothing. Barely. I think he threw like 1 in the strike zone. Other than that, he was just dirting it. I think he realized he didn't have control over the pitch. That's why he only threw it, only threw 7 of them, 8% of the time. And let's go to the plot chart. This is kind of crazy. This is like effectively wild taken to a new level. So not a whole lot of miss up here, which is again was kind of a problem, except when he's throwing at, okay, that's a lefty. Okay, he was throwing at Lenyn Sosa's dome, but he got a foul ball on that. So some stuff kind of flying away up here. But then that curveball, the very same curveball that performed very well, it was just all over the place here, but he was getting swings and misses. He was getting swings and misses, even on some of these ones. Yeah, look at that. Swing strike right there. Michael A. Taylor, it happens. Hey, we know. And then swing strike right here to Lenyn Sosa. Man, you don't see that too often. These guys just completely, they were sitting on something else. I can tell you that. I don't know if that's a credit to the nastiness of the pitch. That's a testament to him throwing something they weren't expecting. I don't know if you can rely on getting consistent whiffs, down here at people's feet where you're killing animals in the dirt. I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen too often, but hey, it worked here. And maybe it is something that works going forward. Cutter location, again, I liked it. Split it in half. Really nice cluster right out here, right on the outside of the zone, down and away. I think that's why it helped perform so well. But then the splitter, unfortunately, I think I looked at this only like 1. Maybe there was a second one in the zone. The rest of them just boom, 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 boom. I mean, these aren't effective. And I think he realized that. Again, I think that's why he got away from it. So I'm actually not terribly discouraged by this outing. I think he got maybe a little unlucky because there's a lot of information here that would tell me that he was actually doing some things quite well. He may have got BABIP to death. Average exit velo was a little high. Again, I think it just comes back to the four-seam fastball. It just really did not perform like it needs to. 12 foul balls, 7 balls in play, and it was getting hit pretty hard. You're not missing bats. Your curveball and split can be this good, or your curveball and cutter, and it just doesn't matter when your four seam is that bad. So we'll see what happens going forward. We'll see what kind of changes they make over the offseason. I really doubt they're going to make significant alterations to his pitch the rest of the way. I mean, it's just, let's just play out the month. We'll play out the rest of the season. And then in the offseason, we'll see what we can do. Maybe work on the shape a little bit as much as we can. Maybe work on the mix, see what we can do. But overall, I would say that I was decently encouraged by the Taj Bradley starts. Or I would say, actually, I was fairly encouraged by the Taj Bradley starts. I liked a lot that he was doing. And I think even though you give up 8 hits and you give up 4 earned runs, I think you got a little unlucky. So that's going to be my starting pitcher review. We had a few other guys, but I just really wasn't, I don't know if I want to talk about the Bailey Ober and Simeon Woods Richardson starts. And hopefully we have some more interesting starts to talk about next week.